Alright, in this video we are going to look at how to identify relative maxes and mins on a table or graph. Alright, first of all, relative max or relative min for a parabola is our vertex. Right? Is at the lowest point. This didn't come out too well. This right here is there's the vertex. That's the lowest point, so therefore it's a minimum. For this parabola, the vertex, which is a maximum, is it a hill or a valley? Valley, hill. Valley means minimum, vertex is the lowest point. If it's a hill, it means our vertex is a maximum. And the way you can know by just looking at the equation, if A, remember y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. If A is positive, I'm going to have a minimum value. That means my vertex will be the lowest point. If A is negative, then I know I'm going to have a maximum. In other words, my vertex will be the maximum point or the highest point. Okay? So in the previous video, I did 4 examples. All right, so real quickly, I'm bringing these back up. Here's my vertex, so therefore that's a min. That's the minimum value. That's the lowest it can go. And the next example, we had another min. It's the lowest point it can go. And another example was a max, which is the hill. It was the highest point. You can't get higher than that. And then on the last video, which I did a correction on, but still my vertex is a min because it's the lowest point, because it's a valley. So, by just knowing what A is in standard form will determine if I have a relative max or a relative min. Let's move on. Alright, tell whether the function has a minimum value or a maximum value. Alright, so right there we want to know is what is A. A is negative 2. Since it's a negative, that means I have what? If A is negative, right here, if A is negative, I have a max. So I have a maximum value. The next part says, then find the minimum or maximum value. In other words, they're asking you to find the vertex. That's what they're asking you to do. So that means I use x equals negative b over 2a. So remember, a is negative 2, b is 4, c is 3. So put negative 2 over 2 times, b is 4. So I got negative b, or negative 4 over 2 times negative 2. So I got negative 4 over negative 4, which gives me a positive 1. So there's the x-coordinate of the vertex. To find the y-coordinate, take 1 and I plug it in for x. So in order to find y, I take negative 2, plug it in 1 for x, and do order of operations. So this becomes 1. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. That's 4 and 3. So negative 2 plus 4 is 2, plus 3 gives me 5. So then find the minimum or maximum value. So the minimum value of this quadratic is 5. Right? So the maximum value is 5. All right. Let's look at another example. Tell whether the function has a minimum value or a maximum value. So here we go. A is 4, B is 16, C is negative 3. A is positive. Since A is positive, I have a minimum. That means I'm going to have a value. So I have a minimum value. So I have a minimum value. Then find the minimum value. All right, so that means I got to find the vertex. All right, so do x equals negative b over 2a. So negative b is 16 over 2 times a. So negative 16 over 8 gives me negative 2. So now I take negative 2, plug it in for x. Right, do order of operations. So negative 2 squared becomes positive 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times negative 2 is a negative 32 minus 3. So 16 minus 32 is negative 16 minus 3. I get negative 19. So negative 19 is my minimum value.